Good sleep is something that I feel like we all strive for, and there's a lot of things that can go into proper sleep hygiene, getting adequate sleep, and that way we can feel refreshed the next day. Some of the things to really consider foundationally is just simply having a routine. Know when is a good time for you to try and fall asleep, what time you want to wake up. Try and kind of suss out what's the best amount of sleep for you. Some people function really well off of 5 to 6 hours. I personally am a person that needs like 8 to 9 hours to function pretty well. So kind of play around with that a little bit, but really just building that routine. Some big things to avoid would include, blue light. So within like an hour before you're planning to lay down, try to stay off your phone, which I know is really, really hard in today's world. Avoid TV, computers, those kinds of things. And the reason for that is because blue light wakes up our brain, even if we don't think it does. So if you're tossing and turning, don't check your phone because it will wake up your brain more than you think it does. Turn on I think a lot of the phones call it like a night light, where it makes it more of like a yellow screen instead of the blue light, if you have to be on your phone late at night. But I think the biggest thing is really just routine. Having your room also cool is really, really helpful. I think a lot of people usually recommend like 68 degrees or so to allow your body to cool off, to truly go into a nice rest. One of the other things that we talk a lot about is eating and working out before bed. So if we eat a really heavy meal and then we go to lay down within, say, 30 minutes to an hour after eating, our body is going to still be awake even if we're trying to sleep because it has to digest. So we don't properly get a full restful sleep if our body is busy digesting. And when it comes to exercise, we get a rush of endorphins, we get a rush of energy. So if we work out within, say, 2 to 3 hours before sleep, our body isn't going to be relaxed and calm enough to fall asleep properly. Sleep is when our body recharges and heals. So that's both physical and mental health. Proper sleep really helps with, making decisions, being clear-minded during the next day, being able to control our emotions and respond rather than react to things, as well as for physical health, it helps with, high blood pressure, it helps with proper eating habits, it helps us not gain weight, believe it or not, because our body, again, is able to shut down, restart, and heal from the day. I mean, every single day is full of a million different things that can happen, and some days are more exhausting than others, and by resting and truly getting a proper night's sleep, we're able to recharge and rejuvenate and be ready to face the next day. I think one of the biggest things that really interferes with people's sleep is stress. I mean, flat out, everybody has stress every single day, right? And we hear a lot of times that stress is almost like to be expected and we need to learn to just deal with it. But that's not really helpful and it's not beneficial, and that in and of itself can cause more stress. So one of the things that I've always recommended is to try and eliminate stress or minimize it rather than manage it, right? So if you wake up and you have a list of 25 different things that you need to do, try and manage what needs to be done priority-based. And, if there's things that you need to carry over to the next day, writing a to-do list for the next day can be extremely helpful, because then we're not sitting there having to go through the list over and over and over in our mind. It's called ruminating, and it can keep us awake. But some of the other things to consider when it comes to our bedroom space is keep it cool, keep it focused on sleep and intimacy. We don't really want to use our bed space and our sleep space for other things during the day. So if you're a bookworm like I am, I know it can be really comfortable to lay in bed and read, but if we end up subconsciously building a habit around that, when we go to bed, our brain is going to wake up thinking it's time to read, even though we're exhausted and ready to go to sleep. Light in the bedroom can also prevent it. I know a lot of people like to have sound or noise to help them fall asleep, my encouragement is to not use TV. Use like an audiobook, turn on the radio, anything that's not going to put light into your bedroom. But if TV is your jam, try a face mask, an eye mask, to block out that light so that it doesn't wake up your brain subconsciously when, you know, that really bright commercial comes on that's really, really loud and will also wake you up. So when it comes to the idea of seeking medication or asking about medication, my biggest recommendation is to include your primary care physician in that discussion. Let your doctor know, what does your sleep look like? You know, how many nights out of the week do you feel unrested? Like you're lacking energy, like you're fatigued, like you're run down. One of the things that I have always encouraged everybody to do is start with behavioral aspects. So build a routine, give that a try, change up your sleep environment, cool your sleep environment down, do all of those things, you know, eliminating the blue light, that kind of stuff. See if that helps. And then if you're still struggling with falling asleep, staying asleep, or both, really kind of track it and, you know, talk to your primary care doctor about what your sleep looks like, what you hope your sleep would look like, and the struggles that you're having, so that you and your primary doctor can really brainstorm some options that might be a good fit for you based on what your habits look like. One of my biggest recommendations when it comes to exploring sleep and evaluating what some sleep options are for you, there's a website called sleepeducation.org. They have a lot of different blog posts. They have a lot of different topics that they talk about on that site. And being big on sleep hygiene, it's one of my favorite resources to use when helping clients or family members or friends, for that matter, navigate sleep. I direct them to that, and they have a lot of topics and resources available on that site.